Baby
Hello.
mama, how you doing?
I'm okay. I am multitasking and trying to get through it.
I know.
That's all
You
Yes,
right.
babies,
so
huh?
yes, I'm going to apologize in advance to our viewers that you will hear children, but this is part of life. So stay tuned for the cries and the mommies and a baby on the back.
That's right, girl.
There's a
I'm
baby on
trying
your
my best
back.
here.
Let's
On
see,
my back.
Yvonne.
I love it.
On my back. Literally. All right. For those of you who are not aware of that, it is a customary tradition thing, life. A lot of countries practice this. It puts the baby to sleep, but she's not sleeping right now because she wants to be on live. So you will hear some cooing from Miss Yvonne. All right.
For real, for
Wait,
Literally.
oh
my
Vanessa just
God.
flashed her real quick.
All right. Here we
Here you
go.
go, guys.
Say hi.
Mama, oh my goodness.
Say
Look
hi.
at that face. Look at that face. She's like,
Yes,
hello,
hey,
world.
girl. Hi.
All right now.
Like, I got
Thank you,
something to
ladies,
say
for
to
waiting
you.
on me.
No
I'm still
worries.
waiting on my husband to get here so he can take the kids, but we're gonna start anyway. So as Lexus was saying, we haven't been here for a while. We've been traveling the world and doing things and catching up on our personal lives. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into it. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we're gonna reintroduce ourselves. So we are Lived, and go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm Lexus. I'm the L to live.
Hi everyone, I'm the V of Lived, Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. I'm the E of Lived, Elizabeth.
Hey everyone, I'm the D of Lived and I'm Deja.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight's Wind Down with Liv. Tonight's topic is going to be about protecting the Black woman and also creating safe spaces for the Black woman. So just to jump right into it, I just want to ask the ladies of Lived, what does it mean to be a Black woman and to be protected as a Black woman? And you guys can jump in. This is that random.
I
You
can
can think about it.
Yeah,
Sure, go
Lex.
ahead.
So, I'm gonna just take it back to during slavery, because I feel like that's where that term "protect the Black women" stemmed from. Because back then, right, when the Black woman was being like raped, beaten, the Black man could not protect her, and if he chose to, right, he would be killed.
Wait, sorry, there's a noise coming through. Okay, stop.
There's a kid coming through too.
It's all good. Go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, I think historically there's something there where Black men weren't able to protect Black women, not because they didn't want to, but because if they did, it would mean, or it would cost them their lives. So I think that's something that has carried on generationally. So Black men now, you know, it's I don't want to say all, but some Black men now, they may turn their face or to go out there and march to say to protect Black women, you may not see too much of. So I think there's a historical piece from slavery connected to the term protect Black women, or the saying protect Black women.
I like that a lot. I do like that. And it does really stem from the very beginning, from being separated from each other.
They weren't able to protect us. They would be murdered or killed. So it's like that fear is instilled in them, right, generationally, and then it's like passed on, you know, it's like a trauma. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, Vanessa, could you repeat the question one more time? I just want to know how I'm going to phrase my answer.
Sure. So when it comes down to protecting the Black woman or Black girl, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to protect the Black woman?
Just to piggyback off what Lex said, you know, as a Black woman, we're expected to be a strong Black woman, a woman of thicker skin, a woman of, you know, you hold the world on your back. When we're using the term protect our Black women, it means, to me, from my interpretation, I would say it's more so just giving support to Black women, because we already have to do or deal with so much. So by protecting us as a whole, you're technically protecting history, because history, I feel like, begins with women in general. And for a Black woman, it's just like an added on, or even a woman of color, it's just like an added on, like, layer of, let's say, struggle, discrimination. Like, you know, you can be a strong woman, but the fact that, like, you're Black, it's just like added on, like, I don't know the term, the term to use,
Yeah.
but it's just like, I would use a added on bonus, you know? But yeah, so I think Black women in general we need protecting, and it would be nice for our brothers to protect us. Support.
Don't worry, we'll go right into that question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when I think about protecting the Black woman, I think about like the many layers and ways to protect the Black woman. So it goes beyond just the physical, right? Like, obviously our bodies are degraded, and our bodies aren't held valuable because of, like, what Lexus and Liz said about, you know, going back to slavery. Like, there's been a real desensitization towards our bodies. You can see that in history with, like, the experiments that they've done onto Black women that have created sterility and syphilis and all of these things. And also just they just did not care, like rape, like what you call it, lynching, any insane, like, inhumane way they've done. So, you know, that's the physical, but there's so many other layers to protecting the Black women, like the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, like, you know, just based on recent experiences for me, like the basic human, like, dignity of, like, listening to another human being speak their experience is lost among people. People are tuned out, they're disconnected, they're desensitized to even listening to our experiences and creating space for our truth. So I think that it's, like, so layered, it goes so deep of, like, how disrespected and disregarded we are in this world. Like, we need space, we need people to be able to come in and stand by us and just at least listen to the experiences that we have. It doesn't matter if you can relate to it or not, or if you've experienced it or not. It's like, this is actually happening to a human being, and they're not lying about it, they're telling their truth. And for you to disconnect or disengage or tune them out, it's like, that's just a disrespect right there. So I feel like it goes so deep. It really does.
Honestly, I agree with each and every one of you. I really feel like it does go deep, and it's built around, for me, and my you know, thought about this question is that, you know, we are always seen to be the jovial one. We have to succumb to all of these different directions. We're being hit at different angles, and we're supposed to smile about it at the end of the day. So that picture has been painted about us the entire time we've existed. So when it comes down to protecting us, there's no such thing, because we can do it on our own. We're seen to, I guess we're deemed or looked at as too independent, or like very strong, fast, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that the strongest ones are the ones that actually, we all need protection, but it's the ones that are painted as you're too strong, or you're too head fast, or, you know, things of that, are the ones that actually need it the most. And you would never know until they break down. We break down, or, you know, we crumble, or something occurs that for us to, like, to leash out or lash out, you know, the other side that needs the protecting. And what it means to me is that, like, no matter where you're from, how you sound, how you look, you still need, we still need the protection, regardless if it's physical, emotional, mentally. Like, I think protection, it goes across the board, the, you know, the whole spectrum of what life consists of, not just physicality. I think a lot of people get you know, mistaken when it comes down to protection, and thinking that it's only physical. And that's where we have to open up the door for conversation, that it does transcend through different channels of by being protected. Right.
I agree.
So, right. Definitely. So I just want to jump into the next question. I think we're kind of already answered it, but I want to delve in a little bit more to it. Is why is it that the Black woman is the most disrespected person in the entire universe? Like, why is it that, like, we're human beings, but why is it that we're so disrespected in that light regarding being protected? Like, there's many women across the board, but why is it the Black woman specifically? I just never
I'll jump
understood that.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
jump into the I think that we have the ability, like, no matter what can be done onto us, we have this immense ability to be compassionate and to care and to, like, always show up. And it's like, it's so twisted that I think people just take advantage of that. And they've been taking advantage of that in history. Like, when I think about, like, the history books, and when I was sitting in class and I was looking at, like, the women who were taking care of, like, slave owners children, I mean slave masters children, like, they were nursing them, breastfeeding,
Wet
like,
nursing.
oh, wet nursing, exactly. I was like, oh my God, that is sickening. Like, sickening. Like, that's so, I mean, obviously babies need nourishment, but that's regardless, like, talking about the context of slavery and how twisted that is, like, you're expected to show up in that way, and it was like by force, by fire. Like,
Yep.
I just think that we were just taken advantage of, and constantly we had no choice but to survive through it and come back and be resilient. Like, there wasn't, other than that, it was just death. So I think that's why people just took advantage, and that's what happened in our history. I mean, thank God to our spirit that we prevailed through those atrocities, but God damn, like,
Yeah.
I think I don't want to use the word resilient, because I feel like it's just so, what is it called? It doesn't really capture who we are anymore. You get what I mean? I feel like we as a collective, as Black women, we're just done being the punching bag. And we've been the punching bag since the beginning of time, pretty much. I think this stemmed from, the whole concept of, I'm not sure what book I read. I can't think of it right now, but it's more so like, oh, if you cut the head, then everything else is done. But the thing with a Black woman is, technically we're the neck. We control the head. You get what I mean? So yeah, you can break down the Black man. However, because of the power that we hold, it's still like, I'm still going to uplift and change the narrative in every way, shape, or form. And when they saw that, oh, like, it's technically not you know what I mean? Like, not the men. You have to go to the woman. I think it was just an easier target, because, like you said, we're nursing, we're picking cotton. On top of that, we're still responsible for cooking and making sure everyone is well fed, even after a long day on the field. So it's yeah. I don't want to say anymore, but yes, it's there's so many things to start to pick from.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah, you guys both were pretty spot on. I think the reason why Black women, you said, why are they the target, right, Vanessa?
Like, why are Black women why is the Black woman the most disrespected person, like,
Well,
across the
I'll
board
say this.
anyway?
I think, and this is just my belief, that Black women are the blueprint. Everyone else comes from us, and the woman is ideally the foundation. Yes, the man, he may haunt, he may provide, but the woman sets the tone. And like what Liz was mentioning, like in Deja, women nurturers, right? We, and Vanessa, this, and Deja, this, you are the first teachers to your children. So I think, like Liz was saying, that's like the attack there, like, yes, you can attack the Black man, but the Black woman is the teacher. She's the foundation to all. She's the giver of life. So I think there's just like something solid there. And it's like, it needs to be like broken down. So yeah, that's what I think.
It's true. I agree with everyone, all of you. They tried the man, they got him, and then they came on to us, and they figured that we're
they got him.
Not like, dang, oops. Y'all, I got this cloth is cutting off our circulation and brain cells. Not, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it metaphorically, like.
I'm sorry. You
Dang,
were so
Liz.
serious. I'm sorry.
We were on a serious note. Okay, this is what happens when y'all tune in with Liv. Okay,
Thinking out loud.
on live.
Got him.
So what? Let me rephrase that. So pretty much, they went to our men and they said, you know what? We were able to get into your mindset, into your grain, and reorganize your DNA for you. Let's now go on to your women, your wives, your sisters, your cousins, your friends at this point in time, and recalibrate how they think and what they and pretty much paint a picture of who they have to cater to. And really, and pretty much for us to let go of all of that stuff so that we can focus on the picture that they want us to focus on, so that we don't have to think about anyone else in the picture that should be protecting us in that point stand. So I feel like it's a lot. It's really a more so of breaking it down and building it back up on our own terms, because we're already broken down. So it all starts from the beginning, and going into accountability and making sure that we can practice what we preach. Everyone wants to be protected, but we're not doing it. We're not doing it. And if we're all family, we're all close knit, and we're all from the same cloth, we should be able to protect one another without, being prompted, without hesitating. And that's where it's going to start. So that jumps into, creating the safe space. How can we begin to create a safe space for Black women? And I'm not just speaking about like hubs, like a center location. We can do that, but like it has to go beyond creating like an actual box where people can go into with doors. What do you guys think about like, creating a safe space and how that can help people?
I'll let Deja take this one, and Lex. Because I know you guys are amazing resources in like, one, not only mental health, but creating a safe space for women in general. So I'll let you guys take it.
Well, actually, Lexus should come in
Right.
and go ahead and plug Woman Stand Tall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So outside of Lived, I have a health and wellness company, and it does speak to the BIPOC community, women and men, in this internal work that we need to do. And it's everyone, right? But it's just like being real with the trauma and the pain, and facilitating spaces and conversations about things we really need to talk about, whether it's your relationship with money, dating history, career, and Deja has been a part of those sessions with me where we collaborate, we hold space, and we have these conversations and bring awareness to things, because what people don't know is the same thing you're going through, somebody else is experiencing it, right? So that builds the connection, and it builds community, and it says, oh, I'm not alone in this. And I've had the opportunity to do programs and realize that you think you're alone in this, but being a part of programs that promote self-development is ideal. Women Stand Tall, that's what I'm hoping to build, a community for people, men and women, people of color, because we need these conversations, and it's about just remodeling, restructuring things, and speaking about our health and prioritizing that, because your health is your wealth. I mean, you know, if it doesn't matter if you have a good paying job, you have a house, you have material things, right? If inside is not right, if it's rotten, like something is rotten underneath and it's brewing, it's going to destroy you. So I'd say looking for spaces that do promote you being able to come and speak. I'm always going to talk about doing therapy. I do therapy. I do it weekly, no, bi-weekly now, but it's through another organization that I do it through, and it's changed my life. So I'd say being a part of spaces that will allow you to speak what is truly going on. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Sorry, I just want to make sure there's no echo. Was that an echo or no? It was good.
You're fine.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. No, that was amazing, Lex. I mean, that was all you.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to you for creating such a space for women and, you know, everyone actually that will feel comfortable, vulnerable enough to speak their indifferences and, you know, put themselves on that platform to be seen. And that's ultimately where being protected also comes in, is ultimately being seen. Deja, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think, Lexus, what you just shared was beautiful. And I just want to add the historical and like spiritual weight that we have as Black women, in a good way, the gifts that we have. And I want to go back to the fact of like, we come from a communal people. Like, we are people of the earth. We never did anything that was individualistic, like nature. If you were, let's say, a lioness or something, and you strayed from the pack, like, you were more likely to get attacked by a hyena on your own, you know, things like that. So I think that nature has the blueprint, and we as African people have the blueprint of being communal and taking care of one another. And I think that women have always done that. And it has translated over here. I think in more recent years, because of like capitalism and like, you know, this kind of like fast-paced productivity type of thing, it started to become like crabs in a barrel, or people started pitting us against one another and being competitive. Like, only one Black woman can reach the top, or only one, you know, Black man can do this, or, you know. So I think that we have to remember who we are and connect to like a group of elders or community where it reminds us that we go farther together. So I just I want to bring that piece into, like, that's the way that we can instill safe space, is together and just getting things out of our bodies. Like you said, Lexus, a lot of the experiences that we have, we're not doing that alone. A lot of people experience the same, you know, we're all human. We experience the same emotions, just, you know, some of the circumstances may be unique, but we can all connect to those experiences because we're human. So I just want to add that part of like, it's really important that we can connect spiritually and like at our core, knowing that we come from a people who move together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Is
Definitely
anyone else drinking? Sorry. I'm like,
I would drink, you know.
Liz, are you good over there?
Liz been
this
quiet.
tequila sunrise that you made.
Liz wants to drink together.
Together.
That community, right? Community. Like,
right, exactly. Can we?
Like this community wine.
Communal wine. What?
Community wine.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm stuck on the apple juice for now. You know, I'm drinking some, you know, sparkling water. It's all right though. I
nurse that baby. Go ahead, nurse that baby.
You know, I just have my sparkling water just to get the little, you know, prosecco kind of taste. But yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait.
So
yeah,
funny.
but I definitely agree with all of you, and you know, I'm vibing with all of you in that retrospect, because it's really on us to bring back that community love, that community guidance, because we came from a place where everything was a village, and I feel like once we got here, all of that kind of dispersed. It kind of like everybody went their own ways and, you know, lived about their life in their own liking, in a sense. So I honestly feel like if we're able to kind of go backwards in a step in a positive light, we'll be able to, like, you know, accomplish that communal type love, accomplish that communal type protection that we're all looking for, and not feel like, you know, it's never gonna happen, because it can happen. I was actually watching High on the Hog on Netflix last night. It's a really good series. I binge watched it. It's about how the African diaspora connects through food.
Yeah,
And I feel like,
I
yeah,
love that.
it's it's a very, very great series, and I feel like everyone should watch it. It's a plug. Netflix, hear us, call us. but
Shameless plug.
Put it out
yeah,
there. Call us.
drop the plug.
Sponsor.
Yeah, so things like High on the Hog pretty much, you know, bring all of us together, you know, and through food. So if we can do it through spiritual, emotional, physical, like in different
Art.
types of like sectors of our lives,
Yeah.
we can definitely come back as a collective, stronger, bigger than ever, and, you know, take over the world. We already are, because, you know, we're in fashion, we're in music, we're doing a lot of things, but we need to concentrate a little bit more in the sectors where it's you know, I guess closer to our hearts more. It hits home for us, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into something. I know. I want to jump into something a little bit sensitive, and asking, when was there a time that you felt unseen, invisible, as if like you hoped, you weren't trying to encounter anything if you were out or anything like that, but you would hope that someone would jump in for you, whether you knew them or not. Jump in as in like trying to protect you or trying to safeguard you from any type of like harm, or just mental, like, you know, obstruction, like stuff of that nature, like, you know. You could take a ponder about it. It's a very heavy
Yeah, I gotta
question.
take a minute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'll jump in. I mean, you guys all know, but people watching won't really know. I won't go too deep into it, but was, you know, involved in a altercation that was an assault by a man a couple of weeks back, where I was hit with a pool stick, and I just remember that the protocol that I followed to protect myself, as far as who was around me and to get security and things like that, was just not respected, and it wasn't heard, and it was almost like my experience was being minimized. It was like I was talking another language to people. That's how they treated it. They didn't treat it with respect or like passion to solve this issue that a man had just attacked a woman in a public place, especially with alcohol involved. So that was a time that I felt the most invisible in my life. I mean, there were other times with like within a relationship, nothing abusive, but just like where you're talking and it's like you're talking to a wall. But that was the time that I physically felt like really invisible. It was like my words were falling on deaf ears, and no one was prioritizing the fact that I was just hurt in a situation. So I had never experienced something to that degree, and it really jolted me and woke me up. Like I had to keep coming back and fighting and fighting and fighting. Liz knows. Liz was standing with me, like fighting and fighting and fighting, where we're like, no, you will hear us. No, like this is messed up. Like, no, like you need to change your protocols. No, like this is where you messed up. This is what can be better. You know, this is how people, you know, got caught up in their own heads. This is what needs to happen to make people, women, Black women, feel safe in your establishment. So that's the time, I mean, immediately that comes to my head that I'm like, yeah, that was like a very visceral experience of feeling invisible. It was like nobody wanted to hear me. Nobody wanted to care. People were disconnected. And I had to literally come back more and more and more to drill into their heads like, we matter, we exist, and you need to fight for me.
Mm.
Right. It's a lot of like accountability. It's the kind of, think that you would expect someone like that looks like you, that, you know, is you, to come in and say like, this is wrong, like, you know, some action needs to be taken. A lot of people like to be bystanders when a certain situation like this happens, and it's not because they don't want to jump in, they don't want to get involved, like they don't want to be in the forefront of trying to protect someone else that looks like them. And that's where the conversation needs to be had. Why is it that people
Exactly.
of our own skin are reluctant or stand back when something is happening? I understand there's repercussion, but had you jumped in or stood your ground and protected whoever like in that situation, if you were protecting that situation and people were there surrounding you and trying to find out what was going on, I guarantee that establishment will not open the doors the next day. But because people are more it's easier for people to stand back and watch as things unfold. It's like it's like a safe ground for people to do, and it shouldn't be that way. If we're going to be a village and a community, I feel like everyone should stand their ground for the next person, because God forbid it could have been someone that was standing right next to you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to
Definitely.
say, like, I am extremely fortunate. Like, I've learned so much from that experience, and I'm extremely fortunate that I had a Black woman and a Black man standing next to me, fighting with me through that. Because honestly, I don't know if I would have been able to do that alone. I really don't. I would have crumbled. I would have felt, I don't think I would have made it through. So I'm so grateful for you, Liz. Shout out to cuz, you know, shout out to
OT.
cuz, you know, like
Yeah,
for always
yeah.
like holding it down, like being my support in that moment, and for us supporting each other in that moment. Like, thank you. I'm grateful.
Of course, it was a no-brainer. Like, I literally like shoved grown men just to make sure like you were okay. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't
No, for real,
care.
she did.
I literally,
Liz is
She was
like,
like the
oh,
host. Liz
Let
Liz
me
was
let me
like the
stop
host.
let me
You see
let me
those
stop
arms? You
Liz.
see those legs?
Let me stop Liz real quick. Liz have shoved romance since college. Okay? So there was an incident. There was an incident in college. Just to segue a little bit into the
I
funny
think me and
aspect of
Deja were
this.
present for that.
Oh, we were all present for
We
that.
all were.
We
It
all
was
We
a
were.
all
party. It
were.
was a
It was
party.
it was our
It
I
was
think
our
it was
birthday
our
weekend.
birthday
Listen,
weekend. It was our
it
birthday
was our birthday
weekend.
weekend.
And there was some funny looking bro man in the audience, in the crowd, that was trying to grab up on Deja, I believe, or was it Liz? I'm not too sure. But
I
you
think it
know,
was
I'm
Liz
Liz.
is
such a
known.
girl's girl. You know what I mean?
Liz is known to be pushing people in their face. So Liz is a girl. If you call Liz this second, she'll beat it in a
Liz
snap of
gets
a finger.
Yes.
down. Liz
We
gets
we
down.
all will, but Liz will be the first one. Just to let
Liz
y'all
Yes.
know.
gets
I'm like,
Just to let
what?
y'all know.
don't let the blouses fool you. Like, Liz gets down.
Exactly. Okay.
She gets down and dirty.
Right.
For real.
I have studs underneath this. Okay, I have knuckles.
I remember that scene very clearly.
Oh
That was
yeah.
serious. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
Right.
summoned, but when she did it, she summoned all the men. Like in that, oh my god. You remember all of them? Like,
Yeah.
They were like, "You
summoned
good?"
the men and the
It was
men
like Power
women.
Rangers. It was like Power
Yeah.
Rangers. They came from like the sky or something. Like I didn't even know where they were. They just came in and they circled us like something was wrong. So it's like it's always good to have
What's
people
up?
around you.
What's going on?
No, seriously, that's how they came. And this guy is in the middle
Yeah.
of like men. And you know, we're standing
No.
there and then we don't even have to look at anybody. They just know what to do. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
So,
That's the village that we're talking about. So Liz, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
and you know, not to, you know, give out too many details about, you know, the incident that happened, because we're still, of course, we're still as a collective processing it all. I think it was very unfortunate that we didn't have the support that we would need. One of the one of the things that hit home for me was that I was specifically speaking to a African American Black bodyguard and literally asking him why. And the one thing he kept repeating to me is, I let the person go because it was protocol. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
You get what I mean?
protocol.
Excuse my language. You know what I mean? That was just not okay. An assault happened. You don't. Let's say the person that performed the assault was Black. They would have, the entire freaking bar would have held this one man down. for sure. And this is not me generalizing. This is not me making an assumption. This is not me, like, you get what I mean? This is just facts, 110%. But you let this person go, and I'm here still tapping you on your shoulder, like, hey, something just happened, and you're still reiterating to me that, like, oh, it's just protocol, and minimizing the situation. That's not okay. You get
At
what
all.
I mean? So that, for me, I felt very broken. I felt very, very depleted. I felt it was more hurtful because I was talking to someone that looked like me, unfortunately. So I don't know. It's just disheartening, and I just pray we get the peace that we deserve, and I hope we never ever experience something like that ever again.
Yeah,
I'll just
because
sit there.
it is traumatizing, right? It's traumatizing. Like for me, I still can't sleep through the night. Like I don't know if I told you guys this, but I'm still not sleeping well. Like it takes me forever to fall asleep, and it's like, wait, I think there's an echo coming through.
I don't hear one.
I hear one. Okay. Yeah, it's like it lives in our bodies. Like I remember from that experience, just one more thing. Like I had to remove myself 2 times to go outside for air, and I remember dropping to my knees and just sobbing, like giving myself a minute to like process what was happening, contain my rage. It's a lot of energy that happens in that moment when somebody causes a shock to your body. And I just remember this spiritual experience of like ancestral energy coming through me, like, no, you have to get up and fight for this, because we did not have a voice. We could not do this for ourselves. So you have to do this in this moment, and you have to keep fighting, and you have to keep being strong. Unfortunately, like I know, like, you know, Black women are, oh, you're strong, you're this, but it was a very spiritual energy that came through me that was like, no, you have to show up and fight for yourself and fight for your friends, and just like make sure that people understand that this is never to happen again. Like it was visceral. So that's what gave me the strength to keep going back and keep going back and keep going back, and reflecting people like, hey, you are out, you're disconnected, you don't care about us. This is the problem. There are people that are visiting your establishment that are patrons who are looking to have a good time and be safe, and you're not honoring that by doing actions like this, by following protocol. Like that's not okay. You know, so it's like, connect with me on a human to human basis. Don't do that. Don't do that minimizing and trying to make me seem like I'm crazy. Because that was another thing, like kind of gaslighting, where it's like, oh, you're like, calm down, ma'am. It's like that whole angry Black woman thing, like, calm down, you're doing too much. And I was speaking in a normal tone. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
So it's quite an experience, but it awoken, I think, for you and Liz, like it awoken a whole nother level of like, don't fuck with us.
Exactly. 110%. 110% for sure.
Yeah. That question, Vanessa, the only thing that's coming up for me right now is I was like 16, and I'm pretty sure the man wanted to abduct me and take me. But I was in high school. I remember I was like 16. I was right over by my house. I went to the corner store to like get some noodles, and this tall Black guy with dreads and a army fatigue jacket came into the store. He was having a conversation with me about which noodles to get and what not to get. And, you know, I was trying to like get the conversation over with, because I looked young. You know, obviously you could see I was a child compared to this grown adult. So he drove this white van. It was a white van. And he goes, I'm going to get something for my car. Wait. So this was the nighttime, mind you. It probably was like 8 or 9-ish. There were people outside, but not that many people. And this grown ass man was just like following me, you know. I go to another store to look for a specific type of noodles. He follows me to the store. He's asking me my age, my name, all of these things, harassing me, you know. And I come out of the store, and I was like, okay, I have like a boyfriend. I said something along those lines, because I'm like, all right, at some point you stop, you leave me alone. So I noticed he like started to linger behind me, and he like put his hoodie on, and his right hand had disappeared. Like he like slipped it into the jacket, and something was shining. I don't know if it was a knife or it was a gun. I just know my instinct kicked in, and I'm like, if you taking me, honey, I am not going out with a fight. I like stopped, and I caused this scene in the streets. And he was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what the is wrong with you?
Right.
And I like immediately, like, I made sure there was space between me and him, and I like ran. I saw two guys that I knew. I went to them just to, like, you know, and he walked past, went in the van, and drove off. And I'm pretty sure that man had intentions to take me.
Of course.
You know, because, you know, sex trafficking, it's real. It happens in New York City.
In a lot of places.
Yeah, in a lot of places, it's real. They do abduct young women. So, yeah, that was the time this grown-ass man was following me, and nobody chimed in or, you know, pulled me to the side or act like they know me. Like, you know, it was very...
I'm so sorry that happened to you, Lex.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Sorry, love.
Well,
It's
yeah,
so long
you know,
ago, but you still remember it. It's fresh in your
that
mind.
taught me a lot. That taught me, like, when somebody comes up to you, you need to be alert. Because I was in the corner store, you know, minding my business. I had on my hoodie, my sweatpants. I had just left out of my house to get noodles.
And I think that comes down to everyone just being alert. Whether you're black, brown, white, whatever the case is, like, everyone needs protection. The black woman needs protection. So if something were to occur to a black woman, it don't matter what you're doing. Drop whatever you're doing and stand in for that woman that needs that protection, because you don't know what she's been through in the course of that day. She may be weak and vulnerable at that very moment that something is happening to her. You should just jump in. No matter what the consequences are, you're only going to act as a witness to the whole entire case and to support what's happening. So it's just a matter of, you know, asking, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, just being that extra accessory there makes the picture better. So we're not deemed, so that the black woman is not deemed as the angry black woman, or she just lashing out, or she just acting out because she wants to be heard. We're not heard. That's the reason why the protection comes in. We don't feel like we're protected because we're never heard, we're never seen, we're invisible pretty much, unless something happens to us, unless we're, you know, we become big figures in the big scene picture. That's when we come to light. But it shouldn't have to take us to reach that level of, like, you know, highlight for us to be seen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This also happens in the workplace. It's happened to me several times. But, you know, as a black woman in the workplace, I want to take it to the workplace a little bit. You just have to, like, mute sometimes, because then the black woman will come out. Oh, she's lashing out because this and that.
Right.
And then you have your African-American black brothers who work with you. And, you know, it's for me specifically, they never would jump in. They never would step a foot into that playfield where you're being spoken to by your higher ups, or it's like a meeting and they are addressing a specific type of topic, and, you know, some way, somehow, something gets said and address it. It's applied to everyone of color, but they say it in their ways. So it's like no one stands up. And if you do stand up, you're the only one being heard at the moment, and then you get swept under the rug. So as a woman in the workplace, being a black woman, I've always felt sort of kind of invisible in a sense, unless I had people that I had to agree with, or they had to agree with me to come forward and say, hey, this isn't right. So it's almost like forcing people to come with you to battle by force. but it shouldn't be by force. It should be like, no, that wasn't fair. Let's go and fix the problem together. Again, it's more about accountability and also a teachable moment. You don't have to be black to protect a black woman. You don't have to be white to, you can be anybody. But it's pretty much asking
I
yourself,
think
if
it's more
this
of
were me.
a human nature.
Yeah, it is.
It's more of an instinctual thing for you to want to protect another human being, whether they're your race, color, height, gender. Just listen. I see someone in distress. Let like as a human being, let's assume that person is my sister, my brother, my cousin, my aunt. Like, you know what I mean? It's more of an instant. At least that's this is for me personally. You get what I mean? Like, I see someone that's getting spoken to in a certain way. I'm like, hey, like, I would speak directly to the victim. I'm like, hey, are you okay? You know, you don't seem fine and you're telling me you're fine. However, I'm not going to leave until I know you're okay. Like, doing things like that, like, very helpful. It goes a long way, rather than you just saying, oh, none of my business. Like, not, let me not get caught in it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It's
I don't
very
find
true.
danger. I promise I don't go seeking, but I'm going to speak when I feel uncomfortable, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when there's an injustice present, we need to continue to bolster each other in speaking up and saying something. Like, we can't just let things go by, and we have to find that courage within ourselves to do that for one another.
Very true.
Yeah.
I also feel like, I was just about to jump into that too. Someone commented and said they're not sure if it's related to like recent notices of kids missing, but if we're able to teach our the generations to come, what it means to be protected, that it shouldn't just come from your home, just your parents or your siblings or your cousins and uncles. It should be universal. Right. So I understand, like, people are scared to jump in, but once you come into the picture and assist that individual who's vulnerable or needs the protection as a woman, it makes the scene, like I said earlier, a little bit better. It gets more clarity. Like, the person's able to unleash what's going on. They can slip you a note and say, hey, someone's following me, call the cops. Like, it's as simple as that. Or like, something just happened to me, I'm not okay right now, can you please call the bodyguard or somebody that in the vicinity, I need help. Right. And if we start teaching our young to do this as they're young, it's easier to jump into the picture. It's easier to jump in when someone needs help. It's so easy to be like, hey, you stop what you're doing. You get what I mean? I feel like a lot of that we weren't taught. We were taught to like protect ourselves, keep our walls up, and keep ourselves behind this wall so no one can get to us mentally and sometimes not physically. So it's like all of this is built underneath, like it's all underneath a rug. Like, take it out when you need to take it out. But it shouldn't be that way. So if we're gonna raise our children, we should raise them in a light where it's okay to speak up for someone you have no clue of. If it touches you in that way, if you feel like, what if this happened to me? I would want someone to rise up to the call. Right. Exactly. I would want someone to rise up. They saw what happened, but they're not saying anything. Our kids should be able to say, I saw what happened. I'm not afraid to say anything. And I'm here to, contest on that person's
And that's
side.
one thing I love about Gen Z. Gen Z are so willing to call out their family members. They're so willing to like go off.
That's the part that kills me. Don't call me out. Call the person that did the damn damage.
Gen Z are so ready. Like, they're like, you listen, you're gonna make me go viral on TikTok or what? Because I'm gonna call you out.
But just to jump into the last final question, which is a little a little chunky, but I'll try to make it short. So what advice would you give to the Black woman to feel seen, to be recognized, to feel like they are part of something, to be protected, just to be safe within their own mind, physically and emotionally? I told you it was a heavy question.
There's so many angles you could come from with that question.
I jump in. So
Sure.
I just want to reassure Black women, Black girls to be bold and to be audacious and to claim space and to not cower when somebody says something, because that is their opinion or their
That's
world,
their
and
yeah.
you have a truth inside of you that needs to come out. And I want to continue to create space for you to feel comfortable in your skin and just let it all out, even if it's messy, even if it makes people uncomfortable, even if it's like problematic to other people. That's their opinion. This bullshit. Like, honestly, continue to just speak your authentic truth and walk in that truth fully. Like, that is the best advice that I could give, because that's what I would have wanted to hear. Instead, you know, I've suppressed, I've internalized, I've, you know, just like, I have a voice of doubt, I have a internal bully. If someone was to do that for me at a very young age, I mean, I don't regret who I am now, but oh man, like the possibilities, the way that the world responds to you, the way that the universe responds to you when you're able to just like be authentically you and express yourself fully. So that's my advice.
Yeah, I think I'm piggy,
Yeah, you
piggy,
said it for every
piggyback.
one of us. You said it for me at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback and just add, like what Deja was saying, the audacity. Like the audacity, I think that's what we need. Like, no, I don't need you to tell me that I'm a good dancer. I know, a writer, businesswoman. I know, you know, I think
Yeah.
like Deja said, if that had been like deeply entrenched in me as a child, you'd be walking in rooms and just like the audacity, just sitting right down next to the CEO. Hello, how are you?
Right.
Drinking his coffee. Thank you. You know,
Not
like
his coffee.
well, he didn't drink it yet. Like somebody poured it and it's just sitting
Dang.
there, and you
Right.
sort of take it and say it's mine. Like that's what I mean.
COVID. I'm kidding.
Girl, no, he didn't drink it yet though. Someone
I'm
poured
joking.
it.
Go ahead.
No, I just say like the audacity.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
I
I'd
get
say.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that as well. I feel, again, it comes from how we came here. When I say when we came here, what we left and came here with. So we came here with a lot of doubts, a lot of like the inner bully, a lot of like the I can never become this audacious person. So again, it's something that has been ingrained in almost in our DNA from where we were taken. Because before women were warriors, Black women were warriors back in the continent of Africa. We still are, but like before we were shipped over here as merchandise, women were literally fighting wars, literally. So it's like we could do that here
Wakanda.
too. I'm telling you, man, they just gotta leave it
Not
here. Bring
Wakanda.
Wakanda here and see what happens.
No,
But
Not
no,
Wakanda.
not
if
Zamunda.
if we could actually do that and have that ingrained here, it would work. It would work, and everyone would be okay, and everyone's thought processes would be identical. Everything would be the same across the board. Nobody would be hesitant or reluctant to do something for the other. And I feel like it's practice what you preach. If we can continue practicing this and showing up for one another, we will definitely be the greater species.
I agree. Thank you, Vanessa. No, that was amazing. Thank you, guys. I mean, you answered it all. I can't. There's nothing else to add. End scene.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would like to thank everyone that was able to come on to today's live. Today's live was a pretty heavy topic and also sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But we are grateful to have everyone who tuned in live with us and also chimed in with their thoughts. And hopefully this touched you in a way where you also begin to practice to protect the Black woman and also share the information that you heard here today on the live to other people and get them invested in protecting the Black woman as well and speaking up for just Black people in general. So that our voices can be heard and our people can be seen on every platform, including on day-to-day average basis. All right. So we are lived, and we're gonna say our motto to close it out. On 3, 2, 1. Be the
Be
woman
The
The
woman
woman
who
who
lived.
who
lived.
lives.
lived. I love
Period.
Guys,
it.
we got
All right.
1.45
Wait, we gotta take the
seconds.
picture for our
Lexus.
thing.
Oh yeah, we do. Okay.
Okay, the question is, how do you do it?
Screenshot it.
No, we have to stay still, and then when you upload, you have to go to this frame.
So
Yeah.
wait, what button am I pressing?
I'll
So
show you. As long as don't close out. Just stay on live. It's okay.
She
I'll come
didn't
to the
listen
bottom.
Liz,
to a
it's
word.
only one. It's 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining.
Okay, so just
Okay,
smile
so
right now.
Just smile. 1, 2, 3.
All right, I'll be right there.
All right. So y'all,
Oh yeah, they're in the same place.
just a side note, they all in the same place, y'all, and they had us do a
Not
full
all.
person live.
Bye, guys.
Breaking the fourth wall. Bye. Love you.